So shout out to Hypnotic. I saw this when I first woke up today, and what a wild roller coaster ride this was. Hypnotic on X said, so apparently Mouthwashing, the smash hit indie horror game, has been delisted by itch.io. I went to the website to verify and indeed can no longer find the game. I went to Steam to check if it's still there, and it is for now. You really thought this was going to be just Gooner games. You really thought it was just the chuds that were getting owned here. Hell, you celebrated it. Nice job. I know the Wokies really celebrated this game. Hell, they hated that Asmongold was playing when he did. Question is, what's next? Smiley face. Still want them on your podcast? Booty Adams. Still think they're doing great work? You stupid Fs. Banger post by Hypnotic about mouthwashing. And we do have updates to this, but I want to present the whole story to you in chronological order. So this was the first thing that came through today. Then I saw more information on this and dove into it further. And I said on X, I'm about to fight for this game because I believe in fighting for developer freedoms, not censorship. Setting differences aside to do what's right for the gaming community is what matters. And I'm referencing this CR80 guy or whatever, said he originally blocked me for covering the shitstorm he caused last year, and I linked my article. Shout out to Hypnotic for the find. So this is Martin, CR8, Martin of Ban Halden with the color pride flag, he/him pronouns, audio and music at Wrong Organ, which Wrong Organ is the company that made Mouthwashing, which indie developer, from what I understand, it's a very small team of people, if it's just like a few people. And one of them is the audio and music guy, who is Martin, who caused a hell of a shitstorm when he said last year, let me bring this up to remind you guys, I made this article. Oh my God, that is quite the ad on the side here. She's definitely having sleep apnea or something. Audio dev melts down over Asmongold's support for their mouthwashing game. Quoting, I feel sick to my effing stomach. And this is talking about the mouthwashing guy, the audio guy controversy, and how Wrong Organ had to stand up and say that they didn't stand for it, whatever. But that didn't stop this guy. The anti-woke crowd has found the game, and I feel sick to my stomach. Being on Twitter is going to be unbelievably painful from now on. I don't have the energy for this. People found mouthwashing, and they were like, oh, this is actually a really good horror game. I want to play it. This guy, this Mr. Rainbow Flag pronoun Martin guy, has issues with people that disagree with pronouns and pushing propaganda, to the point of him saying he felt sick to his stomach that people don't agree with his ideologies were playing a game that he worked on. Fascinating. Let's see how that works out in the long run. But even Wrong Organ stood up and said, yeah, like his views are not ours. Like that's not us. That's just a dude at our company. And I'm sure like he had a stern talking to from the company, I'd imagine. But then we have an update, because when I first saw this guy, I was like, oh, this guy still has me blocked. This is him talking about how mouthwashing is yoinked from itch. He said, and of course, mouthwashing got yoinked from itch. Search results, lol. To be clear, itch has been backed into a corner and had no other option. The issue lies with MasterCard, Visa, and with Collective Shout, who pushed payment processors to do this. Your anger should be directed towards them. And then I shared a screenshot of what my initial contact with this guy was, where I'm like, oh, that's who we're dealing with. But I even said here, I'm going to fight for this because I believe in the developer freedom, even if it's a woke-tard that pushes agendas and pronouns. I want them to have their freedoms too. And this is proof of it right here, because I even said this before I even knew the follow-up. Even though when I said this, I was like, I don't trust this guy. I don't like this guy. I find him very repulsive because people like him always have an agenda or an ulterior motive. And wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? We have Grums on X who said, did mouthwashing devs lie about why they were just delisted? Were they trying to ride the censorship wave to farm clout and sales? Itch.io has responded to the mouthwashing delisting, saying that they were delisted for using a download button that linked to Steam and taking down their own files since 2024. This may have been a false alarm. Nay, not may. This was a false alarm. But screenshots of the game are still being blocked in the UK on X, which is very curious in its own right. E-Darkness on Blue Sky, of course. Mouthwashing is still delisted in itch.io on Blue Sky. This game hasn't been indexed since October 2024, since it doesn't meet our indexing criteria. They're using a download button as a link to Steam. The developer took down any playable files from this from this page. I think they mean from this page in 2024. So this is now, people could say a he said, she said, like, who are you going to believe? Like, itch.io is the company and they're providing actual proof and evidence saying, yeah, it's been down since October. And here's the reason why. So I have no reason not to believe Itch on this. And if the reason was because they were using a download button that links to Steam, that you're not allowed to do that on Itch. That's why it was taken down. Has nothing to do with censorship. Even though that that music guy was saying, oh, it's because of Visa and MasterCard trying to drum up attention, trying to get people talking about the game. And for a few hours, it was working. And this is him saying, of course, mouthwashing got yoinked from Itch search results. Lol, not surprised. It's kind of waiting for it to happen. And then this, to be clear, that I already read here. And this guy said, wait, what? Why? And Martin replied, payment processors like MasterCard, Visa have been pushed by an activist group, Collective Shout, to deplatform not safe for work content on many major platforms, including Itch. Collective Shout have tried to go after Steam, but were unsuccessful, so they targeted payment processors instead. So we have a situation right now where this Martin character is either retarded or is proactively lying to get attention on his game. Because he should have known, if he worked on this game, he should have known it's been down from Itch since 2024. This is your game. How would you not know that? Damn, bro. I responded to Mark. I said, should have known that Cyrate dude struck me as a POS last year. I should have trusted my instincts. And Jay Viper said, wow, and here we were trying to help this MFer while we were spreading fake news. NTM, pronouns in their bio. Yep, can't trust people like that. Never trust a dude with he, him in the bio. This is the thing, by the way. I hate to say like every time, but legitimately, every time there's an issue with someone leaving out facts, lying by omission, or pushing an agenda without telling you the full story, they always seem to have pronouns in their bio without fail. Almost like they think people aren't going to research or find anything. And they just use the shield of, oh, LGBTQ shield if you come at me for not telling you everything. Like, that doesn't work. Definitely doesn't work anymore. And then we have this from PC Gamer. They said itch.io denies hiding one of 2024's best games from search results amid the payment processor crackdown on not safe for work games. Says it's been de-indexed since October 2024 because it doesn't meet our indexing criteria. Guys, that means, I know we are basically in August right now. We're close to 1 year of this being not indexed. 1 year. And this guy was trying to act like it was today or yesterday. It got taken down because of MasterCard. Mouthwashing no longer appears in search results on the indie-focused storefront. And this says recent updates. A few hours after the story was published, itch.io clarified that mouthwashing is de-indexed, but said it's been that way since October 2024 and not as a result of payment processor crackdown. The report has been updated to reflect the new statement, which is why I said earlier when I wanted to cover this, Martin Halden dude, that I really didn't feel great like trusting him with it. But I'm like, you know what? I will fight for him, even though he has me blocked, even though I don't necessarily trust him or believe him. I feel like it's like one of those holy shit moments. Even the people that are the ones coming at us are suffering from the same thing we've been fighting the entire time. It's time for us to fight for them too. And sure shit, it turns out like, nope, it's just a dude that didn't do any research whatsoever. Or even worse, knew this was not on there. It was trying to push the latest trend of Visa, MasterCard to get the name of the game out there, to get additional sales on the game and get more eyeballs and attention. Because let's be honest, in the gaming world, it's really hard for people for companies to get people to care about you or pay attention to you. And it's very easily forgotten about you after it comes and goes. This is a game, by the way, that I have not played yet. It was gifted to the channel, and I have every intention to get to this one specifically. I am waiting for the October season to play it because it's a horror game, and I really do want to play it. So I do plan on still playing it. That's always been my plan around that period of time. But I got to tell you, this whole story really rubbed me the wrong way with what I had intended going into October. I'm not going to change my plan on it, but it does really frustrate me, and I at least wanted to verbalize that for what it's worth. This comes from Grums as well. It says, Hypnotic has been caught in the UK censorship filter. According to the tipster, who is not even in the UK, but in the EU, his post about mouthwashing is blocked by the age filter, which again, when I started this entire night out talking about all this stuff, I was like, all these stories kind of interweave with each other, because a story that literally had nothing to do with the EU censorship, or I'm sorry, the UK censorship is actually getting impacted by the UK censorship due to local laws. We are temporarily restricting access to this content until X estimates your age. For talking about mouthwashing, for the posts that I already showed you earlier. Nothing crazy, nothing like sexual assault, no rape, no horrible things, just talking about what happened. How is that getting restricted access? It's very strange. And then we have Disgusting, friend of the channel, says, I confirm this is what it showed. Which, yikes, bro. Elon, like this is like an emergency level stuff. And that's another one from Grums. More info. Real Hypnotic's post about mouthwashing contains just a safe screenshot of the game. Has been labeled graphic content. Thanks, Pirate Nation, for pointing this out. So just a screenshot of the game is now labeled as graphic content, which, by the way, in case you're wondering what it was, ready, guys? Any kids in the room, please avert your eyes for this graphic content. Ready? Oh, my God. Scary. I think that's the box art. What is even happening? What a mess. But yeah, I think I'll leave that there, because at this point, that's everything we have on the mouthwashing situation. Just want to make sure we got the truth out there for what's actually happening with it. It doesn't alleviate any of the concerns that we have with the UK and the censorship. But in this instance, it feels like mostly much ado about nothing.